We want this. We don't want your sticker. Take your stickers out. Stickers are no-no.
Every spring, there is an increase in Google searches for composting. But this year, the search for composting guides tripled from the search analytics of the previous 5 years. Eco-conscious and environmental sustainability options are needed in our lifestyles now more than ever. But the number one reason why people aren't composting and restaurants aren't going zero waste is because it's difficult and requires more work. That's where game changers like Food Loops comes in to offer easy solutions to composting and recycling for residents and restaurants wanting to reduce their food waste.
Our mission is to divert food waste from landfills. Our broader vision is to make sustainability easier for restaurants, hospitals, hotels, and events, and ultimately residents in Northwest Arkansas. And so we do that by making sustainability as simple and accessible as possible.
There's 15% of the population that do unbelievable things to be sustainable. I mean, they have a really small footprint and they're willing to do extraordinary things. Now, 85% of the folks will do things if it's easy, or some of them don't do anything at all. So we're really focused on that 85%. And what we want to do is we want to make it easy for them.
You know, I find myself in my position explaining compost quite a bit and why it's important. Some people think food waste just breaks down in a landfill. It doesn't, right? So we have to talk about the problem. We have to talk about food waste producing methane in a landfill. We have to talk about it taking up 27% of the landfill. That's an important discussion, right, from a sustainability standpoint. It's not just that we want to divert it to make it into compost. We want to divert it because it's the right thing for our planet, it's the sustainable option, and ultimately it's the way everything is going anyways, right? So we're seeing this across the country, across the world. We're trying to bring that to Northwest Arkansas. The 52 million tons of food waste in the United States that goes to a landfill still. About 51%, we'll just say 50-50, is on the residential side, and 50% of that is on the commercial side.
For a Mexican restaurant, at least in our area, to compost, we've been composting since 2006 at a farm. But what I can tell you is that in central Mexico, in my home state of Michoacan, people live that way. It's not that we had to revamp or redo a system or relearn something. People just automatically live that way. And Food Loops has given us options to do more and help the environment even more. Closing the loop, it comes from the farm and somehow it ends up being back at the farm. And it helps the environment. It helps my family, helps raise the children with a conscious mind. But the main goal is, what are we doing as restaurant owners to mitigate bigger issues in our environment? So and adopting such measures will take a little bit more work on your part, but it's absolutely worth it. Every time we take those red buckets to the bag, we feel good. We know that we're doing something good.
I have lived here for about 6 years, and I grew up all over Arkansas, hence the preacher's son, family of Methodist ministers. Sustainability has always been a huge part of my life, even growing up. And then it really hit hard when I moved to Portland, when I went and trained in the Pacific Northwest. My mother was from out there, and it just really was apparent of what was happening there versus here where I'm from. I mean, in the restaurants there, we had a compost bin. Our actual waste bin was smaller than, some of our waste bins were smaller than the ones that you have at your home. So when I moved back, I really tried to focus on that. And then Food Loops actually came to us, or myself, and said, hey, we have this idea, we want to do this, something really cool, and we really want to make a difference. And they said, would you be willing to maybe partner with us and kind of do the trial and be our first person? And I was like, absolutely, that sounds amazing, because I was looking for those people anyway. And then we just started going, and we've built it, and it's just expanded over time. So it's been really amazing. And I think that's just us being able to push that envelope forward on sustainability from every standpoint. But the food waste and preventing more stuff going to the dump is always just a huge part of what we think in our daily practice. practices. So year to date, starting in January, we've saved 15.25 tons of waste being going to the landfill. We definitely have an elevated cuisine here, and we definitely focus on really fine ingredients, but also we focus on making sure that we don't waste anything for any reason. You know, we're not throwing out the cores of fennel, we're really thinking about how we can utilize everything that we do and make that not only profitable but also delicious and amazing. So by saying, okay, now whatever is left never goes into the trash, now it goes into the food bins so that we can send them and this company can sell them back to farmers to plant things again. You see where the food comes from, so you respect it. And then you break down the food and you prepare the food, and then so you really don't want anything to go to waste at all, because you know the energy and time that it took to go into it, and then it comes back full circle and you're like, then you have nothing left, you know, to waste.
When I started learning about composting, I just learned that 30% of our waste is food, and I just realized if I started composting, that eliminates a lot of the waste in my own home, and also that food doesn't break down in landfills. So if you actually compost, it's like returning nutrients to the soil instead of just going to a landfill to not break down and actually just release methane into the air. So I realized like my waste going to the landfill was actually harmful, so that's why I decided to start composting. And I started composting like 2 years ago, and I didn't have this program, and so when I moved here about a couple months ago, it made it so easy since I have the bucket and I could just return it locally, so it's made it a lot simpler.
What does sustainability mean to you?
Sustainability to me, I just think we have kind of gone on the wrong path. Like, our world is definitely deteriorating at this moment, and I think it's up to the people to start showing that we care, so brands like Food Loops will exist and start to work on the business side and the system side to make our businesses more sustainable.
Once I got through the corporate part of my career, I was looking to run my own business, and my focus was, how can I make Northwest Arkansas a better place to live? I didn't understand that this would be so popular and the right thing at the right time at the time, but it really has turned into that.